Hello, this is my either last or second to last time that I'll be doing this as your pastor, but I'd like to just refer to the beauty that I have experienced here in these 19 years as it relates to our first reading. Alicia in 2 Kings is invited to stay at the home of a good Christian family that recognizes that he obviously is someone who's representing God. In fact, the wife convinces the husband to let him stay because he is holy and he's a man of God. And I'd like to just see in our own minds, how does that reflect who we invite into our homes? How does that reflect as to why we might be invited into homes of others? Is it because I'm a party man? Or because I bring a lot of laughter? Or hopefully, in most of our cases, we see someone who's going to possibly share with us the Lord, someone who's going to share with us what it means to be a man or a woman of God. And this ties in to a certain degree with the Gospel from Matthew, wherein he reminds us how important we are to that plan of God, that he is calling us to recognize who he is in our life. He's calling us to recognize who each of us are to one another. You never see it while this is going on, but Nathan's sitting right over here next to me, and he's prompting me to talk about certain things. And so since we're getting down to my last week here, I would like to just share a few thoughts about the 50 years I've been privileged to be a priest, as well as especially the last 19 years where I have experienced nothing but the greatest love, warmth, and hospitality from you people. And I hope that I've been able to bring some comfort to those of you who I have ministered with and to. I've had some of the greatest experiences of charity here, not necessarily towards myself, but just an observation that caused me many times to think, what am I doing? I need to be more like the other. Isn't that what the beauty of the gospel is about? Jesus calling us to bring the best out in each other. Jesus calling us genuinely to be brothers and sisters of each other. Jesus saying that, yep, we're all human, we've all made mistakes, and yet if we want to be forgiven, we have to forgive others. And, of course, that golden rule, do unto each other that we'd like to have done to ourselves. So when I'm thinking of some of the greatest things here in the parishes, I'm immediately confronted with the sanctity of some of our people who've been Friends of the Poor, a group that feeds as well as clothing others. I think of great gratitude of our association with the group down here. It's the ecumenical group, what's the name of the place down here where we
I can't remember.
have food? And he's younger than me, so that's an excuse. But I've really been blessed to be on the board for the last number of years, in which at times we've had the majority of the workers, at times we've had almost the majority of the board. And I have found it a fantastic experience with every church group down there. And I'd really encourage you to get involved with them. And when my memory comes back, I'll probably spout out the name of it, but you all know what I'm talking about. It's just here a few blocks away. And all of the parishes, all of the churches here support it financially and with workers. I am constantly reminded of the people who were just so obvious in helping us get through this pandemic, still are helping us, making sure that as many as possible are able to come back to the sacraments, making it possible that we do care for each other in not just safe distancing, but in encouragement to, yes, give it a try, or how can we help you? I particularly go back again to my time of ordination, where in my home parish, Holy Trinity, went to extremes to try to make it as perfect as possible. When it turned out that my parents weren't going to be able to come to Rome because my dad had lost his job, then they were offering to pay the way. unfortunately, they were also offering to bring over plane loads of people, and I just said, I can't take care of that many people. I got permission from the bishop to come home for the ordination, and then had to go back and finish up my exams and the last couple of courses. But it was a fantastic experience. I was very happy to have been able to do my studies over there, but I was even happier to come back. And when I went into the Navy after 9 years, it was because my father was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Mom still had 2 children at home. And so I thought, and I had been encouraged by a number of former Navy chaplains to give it a try and see if I could help out better that way there. Well, after a year, I told Mom I didn't care if she married a wealthy man. I was having too much fun. So after 22 years, I recognized my heart was still in the parish, and so I asked the bishop if he'd give me a job when I came back. If not, I'd stay in the Navy. But I'll never forget Archbishop O'Brien, who was head of the military at that time, was just converting over to another job in Rome. And he come up to me laughing. He said, "That bishop of yours, what a clown." He said, "Of course I told Ron that I could make him a pastor, but I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to give him a parish with a school." And then he burst out laughing, saying, "The darn fool, no one else would take a place with the school." Well, as many of you might remember, I specifically said that that had been my prayer, my request, that I would have a place with the school. When I was retiring from the Navy, the Fleet Admiral was trying to convince me to stay in, and he was going to do his best to get me to be the chaplain to the Atlantic Fleet, or the Pacific Fleet, in Hawaii. And I said, sir, I want to go home while I can still kick the ball without the aid of a walker. And besides that, you're sounding like a line officer instead of a chaplain. And I said, I'm tired of doing paperwork. I want to go back and do parish work. And so thanks be to God, I've had these 19 years of that wonderful experience for which I was ordained. And I'm grateful to you who've made it all possible, and pray to God that we will always be for each other, sons and daughters of God, be for each other, brothers and sisters of Christ. God bless you, and thank you.